Well, I think we all needed a minute to take a collective deep breath after that game 2. EG and Na'Vi, again, an absolute slugfest, both going toe-to-toe, taking it deep in the late game. I mean, every part of that was just so back and forth, up and down, all the way up until the very final seconds. EG, though, able to clean things up and secure a 2-0 advantage now in our best-of-5 grand finals. Na'Vi doing everything they can, but still coming up short. EG just seems to be on another level here today. Na'Vi now fighting to avoid the whitewash, fighting just to get themselves back into this series. EG, though, with one more win, will secure the sweep and secure their title of D2L Western Challenge Grand Champions. I'm AC, joined by Trout. And yeah, if you're just tuning in, make sure you go back and watch both Game 1 and Game 2 for very different reasons. Game 1, EG was just totally dominant in every phase of the game for the most part. Game 2, though, was again back and forth, just great plays across the board. Every now and then, one mistake would be made on either side, and the other team would capitalize. Just a heart-pounding affair. But now, again, looking at a clean slate in Game 3, and for once, a little bit of a different draft. Game 1 and Game 2 had a lot of commonalities. This time, though, EG lands themselves the Bat Rider and the Shadow Demon, while Na'Vi grabbing the Enigma right off the bat along with the Doom.
I think Na'Vi's going to be happy with this. It's actually kind of funny because those are the two heroes that they banned out, actually, the exact same two heroes that they banned out the last 2 games. And now they're like, okay, we banned out what we think is the 2 strongest heroes that EG can work with, and now we have both of them. Now, they did give it the Bat, which is, I think, arguably the probably most sought-after hero in the game right now.
Oh, for sure.
It just gets banned out a lot. But to get Enigma and Doom after that, it's very, very good for them. Yeah, statistically, going into Game 3 in a best-of-5 when you're down 2, it's so hard to bounce back. And the team that's up almost always wins. We can look at a number of different stats, but I would say, like, you know, it's morale-based. If a team can do it, it's Na'Vi. I think they're really good about brushing things off. I mean, look at TI2 where they came in after the group stages and looked not too good, barely eked by, and then find themselves in the grand final. So if there's any team to combat some bad results early on and just put that pass behind them, I think it's Na'Vi.
Na'Vi, like you said, kind of up against it. And what's remarkable, and it's amazing the chatter here, because we've got, I mean, it's not just us. We've got the HyperX employees stopping in and everyone wanting to talk about the matches. It's not that Na'Vi is necessarily playing bad. It's just that EG, again, is playing so well. And even so, Na'Vi pressed them to, I mean, at one point, Na'Vi was up a racks. And, you know, you know, after you see the result, it's going to be like, oh, okay, EG was able to take control. But it didn't look that way for a while. And then just a few things went EG's way, and they were able to capitalize. But with Puppy getting his hands on the Enigma, a hero that he's been playing a lot lately and has really been shining on. And I was just going to say that the Skywrath Mage was still in the pool, and we had seen Na'Vi run a lineup exactly like this previously, and they had a ton of success with it. Chances are that's going to be Havost on the Doom. He has been playing the Doom as a farming role for the most part when they do pick the hero, and I actually like that a lot. Havost in Game 1 and Game 2. Game 2 was a bit better, but in Game 1, Game 1 was just so short. Game 2, let's be honest, there were some questionable things that you even brought up towards the end of the cast in terms of Havost. Maybe his decision-making on the like and cost them a little bit.
It was 2 things, and I'm not to call players out. I mean, he played fantastically, especially in Roshan when he just when he just manned up with the BKB and said, this is a smart decision. He cannot pick this Aegis up when he panda ultis. He can maybe deny, but that's very difficult. Those pandas don't exactly attack very quickly. And so that was really smart for him in that instance, and he farmed so well. But yeah, the 2 key things, one, yeah, I know people are saying that, he was just trying to get out of the fight with heart regen, but it was relatively it wasn't very effective. His HP was extremely low. I think if he just fought there afterwards, after they went on him, they used so many spells. He fights. His BKB would have been ready after he bought back, and he could just go and join the fight after there with full HP. I think that would have been much more effective instead of just standing there waiting. And also, on top of that, his Howl was off cooldown the entire time, which I know it was 45 minutes, but it actually does make a big difference. It's 50 damage on everybody, and not to mention when you have creeps up too, it helps that. So, yeah, a little bit of questionable plays right there, but nonetheless, fresh game. We can see this again. Nyx Assassin coming out, and Templar Assassin coming out for EG. It was banned out 2 games in a row by Na'Vi, so we're going to see probably Arteezy playing that. Centaur picked up for EG. I find this a little bit interesting because I feel like I don't often see Mason play this as a safe lane carry.
Yeah.
Not to say that he can't. I just haven't seen him play it often. So that'll be interesting for them. And they picked it up quick. Like you could tell that they had this in mind, despite whatever Na'Vi was picking at the time, which was Skywrath Mage. So they already have a plan coming in here, it seems, for EG.
Yep. I feel the same way. Just watching the way the draft has played out, it seems like a pre-med lineup beginning to end. But I think they're going to be okay with it, given chances are, unless they flip something around here, that's going to be Doom, who is going to be farming out of the 1 position as well. Another hero that many times winds up out in that off lane. And for EG, obviously, the Bad Rider would seem to be the safe bet there. But being able to get up a very quick Blink Dagger, get the Centaur off to a good start, he can take control of a game just like a Doom can. The difference with the Doom, though, is he just has a way of exploding with GPM if he decides to sacrifice a little bit of early and mid-game potential, get a Midas, and then focus on using that in Devour to just farm up whatever big item they want to go after. And the way that Havos does tend to play it is kind of as an Aura carrier. He'll get a mech up. Wow, Quap for coming out. Yeah, I'm going to, obviously, Quap against TA, it's easy to understand there, but yeah, break that down for me. Tell me what dynamic that brings into this match.
I will say a lot of top tier, especially Western teams, hate Quap, and they really don't. They really don't like Quap in general. I'd say Eastern teams run him a lot more. Like DK Mushi, he plays them very, very well. It's obviously good against Templar Assassin. The thing is, it's kind of hard to play it up against Centaur and Bat once they get some early blinks, but usually when you pick Quap, your intentions anyway are to just snowball out of the laning phase because you are one of the best solos in the game, especially against a melee hero like Templar Assassin. And it looks like it will be a support Clockwork, actually. I didn't even think about that because I was too busy looking at this Quap pick. But she has a lot of nuking power in the early to mid-game, tons. And I actually think it might work here. It's also one of Dendy's, I think, better heroes just in general. They gave him sentries to start, so if it will be Templar Assassin mid, he's going to have a little bit of a harder time trying to meld to evade some damage and whatnot, so that will be good for him. And also Nyx Assassin, this is another hero for Funnick, and Funnick, to me, has been playing the best for Na'Vi. Like, in relation to how he's played throughout the rest of this tournament, he's playing a lot better today, and it's showing, and he played a fantastic Nyx Assassin game last game, he really did. It's also good against Bat Rider, obviously, you can carapace the Firefly, and he just gets stunned right in his tracks. Here we go, early aggression yet again from EG. Here as they 5-man roam this jungle. Last time in game 1, it had great success getting a first blood on Havos. We'll see if Havos is a little bit... Yeah, actually, if you see his positioning, last time he was a little bit more towards the center. He's much further to the left this time.
Not making that mistake. And yeah, he'll spot that out safely and be able to exit. So EG, though, able to get down some wards. We see the sentry goes down. That'll block this camp out. And the vision ward right over beside it. And that's just for Zai. And Zai's going to be on the Clockwork this time around. And he is hanging around bottom for now. Mason, as we expected, will be farming up the Centaur. A little bit of spam on the PPD. And already, just look how much of his health he lost there just to that one spell from the Skywrath Mage. So the kill potential is going to be there in a huge way for Na'Vi. Kuro already getting some de-warding under his belt. And found that one. We'll see if they can find these coming up next. But the horn blows. Game 3 of our grand finals here at the D2L Western Challenge. EG leads 2-0, looking to close it out with a sweep, and if they do, it'll mean they went through our playoff bracket without dropping a single game. Funnick finds himself a haste rune, and he's going to go ahead and get in the face of Universe and do a little creep pulling. Mason coming over, but not a whole lot he can do to try to interrupt this. The creeps haven't spawned yet. Let's see. Yep, not going to be able to do anything about it. PPD's coming back up, so it will be a tri-lane up here top for EG here in mid. We've got Dindy on the Quap, and I want to talk about that coming up. A little bit of help already being given to Dindy, by the way, as we saw the Eidolons came into lane and did some damage to Arteezy. Puppy doing work in the jungle, while Havost is actually starting in the jungle as well. And yeah, they've got Kuro out here soaking the first lane's worth of experience. And is he going to just sit in jungle?
No, that's fine, because he knows that Clockwork always does this annoying cog thing, and it's a bad decision for Doom to just sit there and oh, look at I'm staring at the tower. Yeah, I think this is actually really, really smart. It's unfortunate, though, that he found that, actually, no, that skeleton creep, whatever it's called, the Dark Troll Summoner, is actually one of the better ones to get. He does find an Alpha Wolf one, which would have been great if he could get that first. But nonetheless, that actually helps him jungle himself. A couple things, too, is EG. This is really smart by them. They know these are going to be very standard lanes from Na'Vi. So they go the maximum greed, so to speak, and having Bat just start off in the jungle. And people might not know this, but when I played with Zai, actually, on Stay Free, he was our offlaner. And he is actually a very good offlaner. And his signature hero actually was Clockwork. So he's having a little bit of a harder time now just because of the smart decision-making from Na'Vi. If you look at this, actually, he does hit level 3. So in that sense, he's accomplished a lot already. But yeah, people don't know this, but Zai is actually a very, very good clock player.
I actually feel like this has been a great start, the way that the way that Na'Vi chose to go about this, as you mentioned. Kuro's already level 2.5, and coming out of the jungle, Hvost hit level 3 just in the jungle. Or was very, very close to it. He might have been a little bit short. But anyway, 2-minute rune's going to be a regen. That's going to be taken by Funnick, denying that from PPD, and more importantly, denying that from Arteezy. Speaking of Arteezy, he is struggling mightily here in mid. He's got 3 CS to the 11 of Dindy, and Dindy has 10 denies on top of everything else.
This is like kind of why you pick Quap. Like there's several matchups where Quap just like does so well. Pretty much almost any melee hero, he's going to do well. You pick him a lot against like DK. We've seen Quap picked against DK a lot. The hero, not the team. And it's also very good against the Templar Assassin. Not to mention when you give him a sentry as well. It's just what can Allison? I'm gonna say Allison like 5 more times.
Just roll with it, dude. If he's gonna pick the name, call him Allison. He'll deal.
Oh boy, but yeah, it's a good pick against Templar Assassin. Now 5-0 for him, 16-12 for Dindy.
Yeah, so Dindy off to a great start. Hvost at 19, tops all CS. It's a good start for the Centaur as well, so Mason doing quite well for himself. And yeah, he's at 16. The Bat, on the other hand, doing good as well. I mean, the Universe is doing his job. He's got his Tranks up and now heading back out away from the fountain. But the laning phase as it stands, Dindy's taking a bit of damage and forced to blink away here. And is forced to use the salve as well. So finally a little bit of counter punching from Arteezy. But Zai, being pushed off of his tower, is now Puppy at level 3, has come into lane and is using those Eidolons to try to push quite a bit. I was going to say, is this the kind of thing where one team's going to want to try to break things open a little bit? And granted, this is still very much in favor of Na'Vi, but this will change the shape of the lanes at the very least.
I think this is a little early from Na'Vi. Like, you can just pull, you can pull the creeps there with Zai, and this is going to give him a lot of experience. So if they're not successful in this, it's going to be very detrimental to them. Okay, they are doing some good damage. Did he get a different creep, or does he just still have the same one? Yeah, they're getting good damage, but I don't know if they get this because they're taking a lot of damage themselves. Hvost, he's having to try to slowly regen up. If they have like 1 TP ready to go, and if Zai's able to beat, yeah, they actually have a TP scroll ready on PPD. So that I feel like that gave way too much experience to Clock.
Yeah,
he's almost level 5 now.
I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, obviously they're going to want to push. You pick an Enigma so you can take an early tier 1 like that, but it does seem a little early to me too. And that's kind of why I was posing the question: is, which team do you think, 1, is the status quo is going to be the best for, and 2, which team is going to try to break it down and win? And it looks like Na'Vi's kind of answered that for us. We do see Dindy coming back up now. He did bottle an illusion rune, I should say. And is still doing very well here in mid. Arteezy making up a little ground, up to 11 CS, but still being more than doubled up, so Dindy having a very nice performance in mid on the Quap.
Yeah, of course. I do think that Na'Vi's late game is just way better than EG, which is actually a rarity. Usually EG picks heroes that can still fight. Look at the last 2 drafts. They picked fighters and things that do really well in the late game. Now, I've seen Arteezy just carry a game.
Hang on. Arteezy. With the refraction up, Funnick showed his face in mid, but he's able to scurry back to safety. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he actually melded and evaded that Shadow Strike. He would have died, I think, if he got hit by that. So nicely played by Arteezy. But despite this terrible, terrible start that he's had, I mean, it is to be expected. It's not like he's getting outplayed or anything. It's just this happens. I've seen him carry so many times on the Templar Assassin, like even in bad scenarios. So we'll have to wait and see if they can just keep snowballing off of this great early start that they've had. Oh, second, then they just unpause it.
Yep.
Interesting, okay.
Yep, very quick. Looks like probably just something to do with, something on the desk maybe falling over. Who knows, maybe spilled a drink. Don't know. It's 0-0 though, and a very quiet early laning phase, but not for lack of trying. Funnick has been spending a lot of time around mid here, trying to take a shot at Arteezy when he can. And here comes Universe. Funnick should have just barely spotted him as he crested high ground. Universe has PPD right behind him, though, and Funnick keeping an eye on him.
They see him because of the Firefly.
Yep, he's going to be disrupted, and they're going to try to do some damage. He has Carapace. He wants to try to use that to get away. And there's a Stampede as Mason at level 6, obviously, and this may be our first blood. In fact, it very well should be. He may turn. Nope, not even going to have time. I was going to say he may turn and try to throw an Impale, but didn't even get that off PPD. Draws first blood, and EG off to a good start here in what could be their closeout game.
I think right there is one of the reasons why they drafted out this Centaur. Nice early 6 from him. Yeah, Zai, he's actually, he's at level 5, so he's doing well, but that Centaur ulti is going to do great things against that. Like for Firefly, that's one of the Centaur actually picked up, really. In the Eastern scene, it was picked up in conjunction with the Bat Rider, so there's that. Also, I feel like it's quite good against Doom. You Doom somebody, if it's not the Centaur, who it's usually not because he's usually playing further back, he can ulti and then give them haste so they can just run away from the Doom ulti. So that's going to be the key here. for EG. Again, I still feel like Navi's late game is very, very good and superior to EG's. But if they can keep getting nice pickoffs like that, then they'll be fine.
A little bit of damage done to Zai, but like you said, Zai, I mean, he's level 5.5. Like, he's not getting a ton of farm, but he doesn't need it. In fact, he's only got, well, I mean, I say only, but really at 7 minutes in, having 12 CS is not the end of the world for him, especially given he's so well leveled. Funnick, on the other hand, he's got 10 CS too, so the offlaners doing quite well. And even for Funnick, he spent a lot of time in mid trying to scare off Arteezy and make that lane a little bit more difficult for him. Okay, let's talk about Dindy's quad pick again, and you mentioned this. And I echo it completely. Whenever I was hanging out for the qualifiers at the BTS house, and we were there for 18 days and got to talk to a lot of pro players that came to either cast or just to, you know, Cinder and Fear and Fogged and Bulba stopped by and a few others. And almost every time it came up, most did mention Quap as like one of the 3 worst heroes in the game in their opinion.
What?
Or
that's a bold statement. I don't know.
Well, I mean. No, I mean, whenever it came up, like, honestly, every time it's like, so who's the worst? It's like, Quap was always one of the first few mentioned. Always. And I was going to, but like you said, in this particular matchup, she does okay in mid. However, talk to me about what she's going to be able to do to EG as the laning phase breaks down and she gets away from this one-on-one matchup.
Oh, she could have almost killed Arteezy right there, actually. She had to blink up in 1 second. They're securing the runes, but basically, to answer your question, I think she's a bit underrated for good, yeah, she doesn't do much if you snowball. Oh, here we go.
Arteezy in trouble, and there's a haste rune from the Skywrath Mage. Stampede, though, might be enough to get him out of trouble. And will be. And I'm actually, yeah, Puppy couldn't get in. Oh, he actually did. What happened? I just now noticed he black holed.
Oh, no.
What happened? Like, I got there in time, but it was so quick. Now we're going to have a Doom on Desai, but Mason in position, and Havost is going to end up dead. No, maybe not. Does he have the move speed? Mason's right there with him. He has a blink as well. But not going to pursue him out, just happy to have saved Zai. So Avos using Scorched Earth, able to make it away. But yeah, I got there in time. I didn't even see him. He must have stutter stepped. It's the only thing, because I got there in time to see them engage. It just, I never saw a black hole appear.
I mean, I just assumed, okay, he's perfectly fine. Like, I wish I would have caught that. But anyway, bottom lane, they did show the blink on Mason. So even though the Doom was kind of wasted right there, I actually feel like that's a small win for Na'Vi. They now know that the blink is up very, very early on in Mason, so they can kind of plan accordingly that way. But yeah, that's really unfortunate the black hole was used. Dendy might find a kill here on to Arteezy. He can stick an ulti if he wants to. He doesn't know how much refraction. He does have a 10 stick plus refraction, so now he can't ulti. So nicely played by Dendy, holding back on that one. But it is kind of hurting Arteezy a little bit. He's going to bottle crow and be up to full HP, so no harm, no foul.
And forced back up to the high ground. But it looks like that's an interesting fact. Well, Nyx Assassin actually diving up there and dying.
Okay.
So,
well, now Peter is level 7 on a support Shadow Demon.
Not too shabby.
That's ridiculous.
I got to admit, I got caught sleeping on that because I was reading from our stats man. The last time Dindy played Quap, apparently, in this patch was against EG, and they won.
I remember that game, actually. Here comes the Stampede aggressively from Mason. Can he get this?
Oh, Universe there with the lasso. They should be able to kill Kuro off easily, and they're not done. Universe is staying right on Puppy, using the sticky napalm. There's a flame break, and the stomp to follow. 4-0, just like that. Started out very, very quietly in the laning phase, but EG taking advantage, and that early farm given to Mason is being put to good use. That's the second time now he's used Stampede and then the blink and the stomp to make something happen. Didn't quite get the kill on Avos, but was still able to save Zai.
You know, these early blinks, this is just like the EG show when they use, they always get blinks on every single one of their heroes, and they also draft heroes that use blinks effectively. I know that Arteezy doesn't necessarily like to go for blink fast onto on Templar Assassin, as he is going for a Midas, and he will have that right now. So honestly, not the worst time in the world, considering he was up against a Quap, and he's actually recovered very, very nicely in farm. 42 and 6 compared to 49, and I know Dendy has a lot of CS or a lot of denies, but still, I mean, Arteezy's finding his farm.
There's going to be a 3-man smoke. Make that 4. That did get a boast. I thought he was actually on the outside of it. But Na'Vi, no, they got to get on the board, and they have to make something happen. They're going to be heading up to the top lane. They're going to be taking the long path, though, as no one is home on this side of the lane anyway. Everyone else from EG over either in the river or, yeah, actually, they're just getting further and further away.
This is obvious. Actually, Pink, who is PPD, he's pinging out bottom. He's like, no one's farming this. This should be an obvious smoke.
Yep.
They needed someone bottom for this.
Arteezy there with the Courier, and he's going to be spotted by Funnick. Courier does manage to make it away. Now they're going to go and engage, and yep, he's dead. He should be anyway. Gets the refraction off, but the Doom is there. And obvious or not, I guess Arteezy didn't get the memo.
I think that's a misplay by him. I feel like he should have known. Like, Peter was pinging out bottom. Maybe he was pinging out let's push or something, but yeah, I feel like there was, maybe they thought they were wrapping behind mid. Like, maybe they thought they were coming from like this angle right here or something.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Well, good gang from Na'Vi, and they get about as good a target as they could have asked. Arteezy did finish his Midas before that, so he didn't lose a ton. But in mid, Dindy's going to end up dying to a lasso and a blink stomp from EG. So they end up getting a nice return kill onto the mid. They're going to try to trade tier 1s. Tier 1 top dies to Na'Vi. Let's see if they want to come in. This tower has a lot of health and a glyph. And looks like they're running back to maybe buy TPs. Yep, here comes one. And as it's glyphed, Mason will go ahead and blink away. So very nice exchange for Na'Vi. They get Arteezy in the jungle, and they manage to bring down a tier 1 without an answer. And they're still up there, actually, hoping to catch someone sleeping. It's Arteezy, who is now farming in front of his own tier 2. Puppey does have Black Hole ready. He's just going to try to time this out. Arteezy pulling back behind the tower. Now he's going to head south. This will be spotted by Funnick.
Yep.
And this is probably another death on him. They're doing a great job of hemming him in. There you go, Malefus. And didn't even have to use Black Hole. Stampede. Doesn't matter. It was just chained together so beautifully, and the burst from Mystic Flare brings him down quick, fast, and in a hurry. 2 quick deaths on him, and Na'Vi has got to be happy about that.
Absolutely. If they can get this tower, too, that would be massive. Dendy's dead, or sorry, Arteezy's dead for a while. They have a lot of good pushing with the Eidolons, which are level 4 now. So, yeah, it looks like they are going to exchange this. Funnick, he's actually TPing mid. If they can defend this, too, that would be massive for Na'Vi. Here we go. Stun up onto Mason. He can't blink for 1 second. He should get blink. He had it for a second there, but he does get silenced for the time being, but he'll be fine. This tower is not even in deny range, and they get the tier 2 top, so fantastic exchange there for Na'Vi.
Yep. They tried to push 2 towers at once. They had 2 pushing mid and 2 pushing bottom, and they end up not getting either, as both are certainly hurting, but still standing. So Na'Vi, even though they fell behind in kills early, have gotten 2 on the board, 2 very, very valuable ones, and bringing down Arteezy twice in 2 minutes. And yeah, because of that, look at this. 4,000 gold to their advantage just because of tower advantage and the kills they have gotten to slow down Arteezy's farm once that Midas came out.
They might get bottom tower, though. It's taking them a little bit more time than they want to, EG that is, to get this. They have 4 members down here. They really want to secure this. So if anyone TPs down to defend this, it has to be like all 5 or none.
Right.
If you're Na'Vi, because they are ready to do something here. Mason, he's got his blink. His ult's cooling down in 5 seconds. Lasso's up for Universe, but he did pop his Firefly, so he won't have that available. And yeah, they're just going to concede this. Smart there for Na'Vi. Let's see if EG can defend this mid tower. It's at full HP, but Doom is up and ready to go. And he's actually got another 2,000 gold on top of a plate mail in his inventory. So Havos, just knowing how fast he can farm on Doom is pretty scary.
Worth mentioning that Puppey seems to be rushing a pipe instead of a blink or a BKB. Interesting item choice, but Havos up there tanking, and they will be forced back, so the tower will be defended. Was in good shape, as you mentioned. It just comes down to how dedicated Na'Vi is to this. I feel like they have the tools to siege this out for a while if they want to. Funnick's going to go undercover Vendetta and head on down to bottom. Looks like EG just going to hold the line and make sure they don't overextend. Only Puppey still hanging here in mid, but even he's going to bail out now.
Yeah, now the similar story here is, well, actually, no, there it is. Okay, Arteezy, he's TPing up top. Has his Midas off cooldown in just a second. He's level 10. Let's look at the levels here. He's actually, yep, he's top level in the game. So there with Mason. And that's just what Midas does for you. He's actually halfway to 11 as well. Bottom lane, how Funnick's doing on levels himself. He's 8.5. He almost has his blink. So despite the first blood and the other feed that happened top, I didn't see it. He's actually got his blink at a very, very nice time. And we saw, Universe here.
Funnick getting the Carapace off just in time. Very quick reactions from both. Universe was quick to blink, and Funnick quick to shut it down. They actually smoked 3 there, and PPD hung in mid, and probably for the best. They might have been able to catch him on the way out. Speaking of smoke, there's going to be a counter smoke now out of Na'Vi. 1 straggler for EG, that's Universe, and he might get caught. Avost is moving fairly quickly. Universe makes it back to the former side of the tier 1, and we'll be able to make it home okay. So a couple of smokes, nothing productive for either side, though.
Yep, and Quap, of course, is going for the probably most standard build is the Orchids, and he'll have that actually at a relatively good time. Could have been much earlier, but he did have some pressure in mid, as he is 0-1-0. Here's some action onto Universe. The Mystic Flare, or whatever that's called, was off the mark. Centaur ulti, I don't think was really necessary. So kind of a little waste right there. Yeah, Mystic Flare is what it's called.
Yep, I was double checking. This is whenever you question something I call, it's like, oh crap. But yes, it is Mystic Flare.
I just call it the old.
That was actually a real nice play from Universe. He got Firefly off just in time, and he probably would have been dead there if he hadn't been able to Firefly and take the route he did. Because all he could have done is would have been gone to go. I don't know why I can't draw on the map now, but okay. Trying to draw on the map. It's not showing up on my side anyway. I guess it's underwater. But he could have, it would have limited his choices for escape path because of the slow especially, but because he got to the high ground, he was able to survive. So 5-2. And we had a brief period of a lot of action, but for the most part, it has slowed down some. Na'Vi now putting pressure onto the Tier 1 in mid once again. Let's see if EG can do anything about it. It's now below half health. Zai is up to the north, and he's going to go ahead and TP out. And Funnick sitting up on the ridge line there, trying to catch anyone rotating through. With that Vendetta,
they do have a sentry.
Yep, they do have a sentry. Now he's going to come down. They know he's there, pinged immediately. Universe takes to the skies, looking for a target. As you said last game, this is one thing EG is very good at, is catching people as they retreat. And they just have to pick their shot, especially in this situation, given the way the game has gone so far. And Na'Vi owning a bit of a lead. Puppy over to the side. He's kind of off by himself. Universe is right there, has a blink and a force staff, but not going to take his shot. So caution on both sides.
I think Puppy needs to control these Eidolons a lot better. I've just watching him constantly feed them to Arteezy, like a lot. So if you see Arteezy's CS is actually 93 and at 9, despite it, like he had like 20 CS at 6 minutes or something like that. And he's trying to like burst through the refraction charges of TA, but I don't think that's worth it. Like he's fed a lot of gold to him. Havos, he's walking up here. What's his item progression? I'm not sure if he's gonna go for Shivas or the Assault Caress, but either works quite nicely. I would say Shivas is probably a bit better because there's not that much physical damage onto EG just yet.
Oh, hang on, Universe gonna grab him. There's the Force Staff and the Stampede. Blowing him up down in the river, got hit with the Demonic Purge as well. There's the Shivas that just got completed. He used it, but not enough to save him. Rest of his team a little tardy in getting to him, and it looks like, wow, Zai and Mason actually managed to get a kill on Enigma by themselves up at top. So we're watching the battle in mid, but they engaged at top as well, and Zai hits his first hook of the game. Apparently behind that now, though, Mason hit and brought down by Queen of Pain's ulti. So a nice return kill there. Zai now taking quite a bit of damage. Dindy uses his dust, and Zai decides to go ahead and keep running. Funnick's there to follow with the Impale. And that's a nice, honestly, I don't think they're going to mind that so much. They got Mason, and they got the clock. Obviously not optimum that they lost 2 heroes in the process, but at least they got basically even trades back.
That dust was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I don't know, he thought it was like, am I attacking a TA or a clock? I can't tell. Whatever, I'm just going to dust.
Honestly, I see something like that, and I just go, maybe he knows something I don't. In the heat of the moment, not going to question it.
Okay. So
Universe, wow. Did he just, okay. He blinked. I think he forgot.
No, he didn't have lasso up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he forgot, though, because he blinked and then force staffed out. Like, seriously, you can see the triangle he drew here.
Interesting. Okay, well, Doom, he still has his ult ready to go. Shivas, I cannot believe he has it this fast. Crazy. Crazy stuff, but here we go. He's got the mech. He's got the Shivas. Puppy, he's so close to that pipe. It's going to be very, very good for his team. This should be a secured tower kill. And at first, I was agreeing with you. I thought it was like, oh, pipe? It's kind of weird. Obviously, he doesn't want to go mech because Doom already has it. Maybe he could just go blink into BKB. Honestly, that would have been really, really good this game.
Yep.
But he's going to go for the pipe because if you look at EG, literally their only physical damage is TA.
Right.
And that's not going to come online like in huge force until like the 25 to 30-minute mark plus. So it's actually a really smart pickup.
Speaking of smart pickups, Dindy going with Orchid.
Yep.
And I like that a ton against TA and the Bat both. Those two in particular. If you can get the Orchid off on them, really limits what they could do in a fight. Same thing even with the clock. And I like Na'Vi's chances right now. I like the way they're looking in this game and the way that I think their composition is going to, the trajectory they're on, looking ahead to the next 20 minutes as we have just crossed the 20-minute mark. They have had their lead cut down a bit, but still maintaining a little bit of a lead at 3K. Nah, it's coming back up to about where it was. Experience is in favor of EG, so go ahead and talk to me about that for a minute. Talk to me about how these lineups you think they're going to interact as we look ahead to big engagements, not now necessarily, but 10 minutes from now, 15 minutes from now.
This seems very much like a 4-1 kind of lineup from EG.
Yeah.
Just give RTC the space, and they seem to do that a lot, whether they want to or not, where RTC is just farming and farming, farming. The other 4 are getting stuff done. RTC's up to level 13, so that's good for him. So yeah, their lineup is very centered around just getting lots of pickoffs and then having Arteezy hoping he's strong enough on TA to carry them in the game, which I don't doubt him. I think he can't do. But that being said, I think Na'Vi's lineup is just better in late game. I really like Doom is so good, Enigma's so good. Quap actually does quite well in late game, and Nyx is also good in late game. So this is the Arteezy test.
Mason Pops the smoke, and he's just going to walk right into it. Stampedes, but was silenced. Behind that, though, you see the bat coming in, and he's able to get away. They're trying to converge on them, and we're going to see Universe dodging the Mystic Flare for the second time and still being spammed down. He's going to fly over top of the creeps. Na'Vi able to chase him down and secure that kill. Rest of EG, 2 spread out. They all get back to safety, but being able to bring down Universe, a nice pick for them. And yeah, I like the way Na'Vi's moving this game too. I feel like they're taking much more initiative with this lineup, who, like you said, is just quite strong at this stage and is going to get stronger. They're
not taking down Arteezy, though. That's the one scary thing.
Yeah.
And his farming is very, 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 very good. He's level 14 now, just 1 level higher than the Quap. And every single time, I said this before last time we saw TA, I'm like, okay, he's getting kind of shut down. I don't favor him as much generally in the late game against Na'Vi's lineup, but every single time I say that, TA starts to carry.
Yep.
And starts to go crazy.
She just got her BKB too.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm flabbergasted at times about just how strong of a carry TA can be.
One thing that worries me for Quap is how many natural BKB carriers there are. Bad Rider will get one, especially, oh, hang on, Havos, way out in the middle of nowhere. No idea what he was doing there. And that's bizarre. Now a nice hook from Zai. That's going to catch Dindy. There's going to be the impale, but the disruption is there on top of Quap, and Dindy blown up. No, he got away. He blinked just in time. Universe not going to let him go, though. One last auto attack will do it. And PPD actually got him with the Shadow Poison anyway. So they get 2 for free. Did you see what Havos was doing there? I was honestly looking at the items of EG and just saw him just appear in front of 4 of them and die.
I don't know. I didn't see where he was.
He was like right here.
I will say, though, that EG obviously has a lot of catching potential, and here comes a Roshan, and it will go fast with the TA. But as far as their catching potential, they have Clock. The big ones are Bat and the ulti from the Stampede from Centaur. So it might look like he's much further back than he should be, but that's just because of the haste ability from the Stampede plus the Bat Rider ulti.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. He could have been much further up than he should have. I don't know. I didn't really see it.
I mean, it's possible. I'm trying to think. Maybe he got hit with a flame break and I didn't see it. Something. Like, he was just way out of position. I think he may have gone behind the trees and just showed his face too much. But at any rate, it's 9-5. EG takes a Roshan. And Na'Vi, who I still really like their way their lineup should function right now. They are hurting a bit because the BKBs are beginning to come out.
Peter's dead.
Oh, didn't even see it. Was he down here trying to ward?
Yeah, I don't know. He was doing something weird. He just was kind of out of position. Not quite sure what he's doing. So good kill there for Dendy. It'll make him a little bit closer to his BKB. Haste rune spawns at bottom. Dendy will need BKB, but the problem still arises that I feel like they can still kill you very easily through it. Yep. Like, even if you cast BKB, Lasso, plus the Stampede, plus if Arteezy's there, boom, boom, pow, and you go down to the massive damage output from TA. So he just picked up his BKB, now has the Aegis on top of that, and another 2,000 gold. And yeah, I feel like I'm going to be surprised once again at just the power of Templar Assassin in the late game. And I'll have to change my mind about just how strong a hero or a team's lineup is with TA in it. Because on paper, I'm like, EG, they don't have the great of late game, but yeah, again, just TA just continues to surprise me.
I got to admit, I'm guilty of that too. Like, I have such a hard time breaking out of the TA's a mid-game snowballer mindset. But the truth is, you build Midas on her, she doesn't have to be that. And it's just so hard because so many times I've seen TAs go farming greedy builds previously in previous patches and really get punished for it. But tell you the truth, almost every time I see a TA go Midas now, it seems like she's at least right where she wants to be. Even if they lose, it's not like she was a part of the loss so much as just, hey, you got outplayed. Or she just goes crazy. And Arteezy, one of the best at making a Midas build work on a TA. So at 6-9 now, at 25 minutes in, taking a look at the item progression, Kuro's almost got up his. Force Staff still needs a few hundred gold more. Havost has picked up a bit booster now, and we'll see what he wants to do with that, if that's going to be a hard or what. Puppey has had that pipe done for a while, and really I'm a little surprised that pipe didn't really put them over the edge in terms of their ability to pressure EG. And speaking of
Puppey's
EG
dead.
And pressure, Puppey lassoed and will be brought down without so much as a whimper. He bought his urn before he dropped. Now they're going to come back in and try to catch Mason as they retreat. Mason does have Stampede. He is silenced by the Orchid, but it doesn't matter, as the rest of EG there to back him up if needs be. And they get a counter ward on as well. So last few minutes have really been kind to EG, and they're putting that gem to work in particular, beginning to shut down the vision of Na'Vi. They do have one ward up right now, but even that's going to expire up in EG's jungle.
Yeah, and they also have tons of TA traps everywhere.
Yeah.
Which are pretty helpful. The gem is here for Kuroki. He's got to be very, very careful, though. He doesn't really have a real escape mechanism, except for just his high movement speed. But yeah, having 700 HP has got to be careful about that. EG is just like, they're completely pummeling Na'Vi at this point in the game. Zai, he's got up. We haven't even really talked too much about him, but he has a scepter of it himself.
I was actually curious if he got the Ogre Club first, and it made me wonder if he was going to end up going for a BKB. What do you think, Scepter or BKB in this situation?
I think Scepter, especially when your team is winning. Like, it gives you multiple chances to just pick someone off. And like I said, EG's lineup is very centered around picking people off. That will give the space to TA. TA just bought a full Deso, by the way.
I was going to say the same thing. As farmed as Savos is, and make no mistake, he's a monster. This TA is gigantic. You're talking Deso, BKB, Treads, all in 27 minutes. She is actually ahead of Avost right now in terms of overall net worth. That's kind of nutty.
And that's against the Quap that was picked to shut him down, which he did early on, but he actually got some good space around the 7 to 8 minute mark where Dandy just wasn't pressuring him enough. And it does become a little bit more difficult when you have, levels in refraction, so you can just, like, even though you're taking those refraction charges off, you're not taking off the damage. So you can still get some decent farm once you get a little bit of range with your side blades as well. So
it's another one of those games, by the way, where the kills are very evenly spread. And granted, there aren't that many of them, so maybe that's part of it. But it is definitely a team effort. And finally, though, EG has gotten the gold back into their favor and the experience. There's chat trivia, but we're going to have to wait on that, as we do have Na'Vi smoking now into the jungle as 5. They are looking to make something happen. They're going to run right on Zai. There's going to be the Doom right off the bat. Stampede might be enough to maybe... Yep, there's the pipe from Mason. Zai run. He's going to make it. No, there's going to be a black hole behind that. He does manage to catch Universe. Big ulties chained as Na'Vi cleans up 2. Gem is down off of that as well. And they're going to be happy to take that. No, Universe able to snag out Havos. Here comes Dindy back in. Universe is stunned by the Carapace, but Arteezy has the Aegis popped away. Mason hanging out. Now he's going to be caught. There's a follow-up with the Impale. Pipe has been deployed by Na'Vi. And they're going to get Mason for free as well, as he tried to head high ground. So they get Zai, and EG certainly strung that out. But the black hole from Puppey on point with the Mystic Flare and the Sonic Wave, and able to clean 2 up, and they're able to get a big win. That ties our kill score, and I bet, right back to even just about. The experience was beginning to open up pretty handily in favor of EG. The gold has stayed close, but Na'Vi landing a nice jab in the nose, and now certainly back in the driver's seat.
Them EG throws are real.
For realsies.
No, and also on top of that, Zai, he didn't get denied by Mason. I was looking back there, I was like, well, maybe they at least got the deny. Nope, he either missed it or just didn't go for it, or miscommunication, thought he was going to be okay, but misses the deny there. And what a turn of events right there. I was looking to see if they were actually going to get the deny, so I missed the black hole, so thankfully you got that. And I was wondering for a while if maybe Puppey's decision to go for this pipe was a mistake, and just going for Blink BKB would have been better. We might still see that come into play. It would be effective. It can get canceled by the ultimate from Zai, which is the only thing that's kind of annoying. But he does make it work, does find a big black hole, and able to get them back in this game.
Actually didn't catch the chat trivia, but it looks like there's your answer. So, unfortunate. I love Nahaz's chat trivia. He has some of the best in the business.
Or what was the question? It was what hero has more than 60% win rate in 100 games, I think, in this patch. And since I know he's going to try to throw a curveball, I don't think it's going to be a hero in this game. I think it's going to be something else.
No. It'll be a hero in this game.
No, but like last time I remember him doing stats, I said that, and then he threw us off. And then he picked something else in addition, so.
I don't know. We'll
60%? Okay, yeah. Which is the only hero with
patch.
Yeah. With 100+ appearances in this patch. I'm going to say
Centaur.
Potom.
I'm going to say Centaur.
I'm going to say Potom.
I don't know. Centaur seems like that would be a stat that'd be better known. Hang on. Na'Vi looping through. Almost found the courier. Now it's going to be BKB. There's going to be a lasso. That's a BKB quap. EG going to work on Diddy. They get him down behind that. And Mason came in with a stomp as well. Now Havos is caught out, as is Funnick. Puppey does not have Black Hole at his disposal. They just have to try to run for it. Side traps are on the mark. And that big right-click potential out of Arteezy coming into play as they wipe for a triple kill for Arteezy. And they're not done. Funnick is actually tracked down. That's a 5-man wipe. And it looked like Na'Vi might have actually had a chance to get the jump, to get the drop on EG. Instead, they turn it around. And Dindy was even able to get off his BKB prior to being lassoed, which in most cases is a big deal, but in most cases you don't have Arteezy with this much farm and hitting this damn hard. 200 damage plus armor reduction, and just look at how quick that tier 2 dropped.
Templar Assassin is okay.
Wow.
There you go.
Good to know. I admit it. He admits it.
Okay, well, yeah, that fight, and I bet this goes back to what you were talking about with the qualifiers and the other pro players that were watching that and saying that Quap is garbage tier, basically, and I bet they're sitting there laughing at their chairs saying, lol, Truff, you effing noob, because they're right. Like, he's doing nothing this game.
Well, that's the problem. He's good in one-on-ones. He's good in lane. He's See, now, why is it all you Han guys call all of the heroes he, even if it's a she?
No, it's a me thing.
No, it's every one of you.
Really?
Yes. But anyway, she does a lot in lane, is versatile, flexible, has good burst or whatever. But then you just get to this point, and it's just like, okay, now what? And that's kind of how it's feeling right now too. Yeah,
well, and she even cast the BKB before she got lassoed. But this is exactly what I said. Even with BKB, if you get lassoed into T8, two-shot, you're dead.
Just dead.
But that's not to say it was just a Quap thing, but I think in general that Quap just hasn't done anything this game.
Yep.
And we haven't really felt her effectiveness in whole, so...
She just needs so much help. I mean, like, she's one of the, like, good movement and good decision-making, good positioning counters her, and that's what defines pro play separated from, say, high-level pub play. High-level pubs, yeah, she can pile on the kills, but she's not going to 9 times out of 10, a Quap, even that does well in lane, is simply not going to snowball that hard because pro teams are just not going to let her. They're going to stick together. They're going to make sure they have vision up. They're going to make sure they know where she is and account for her. And they're going to make sure they have BKBs. And that alone makes such a huge difference.
I'm actually even wondering if she should have gone for an Orchids instead of something else. Like maybe if she went for a fast Necro 3, could have been a little bit more disruptive to different heroes. Not to mention if Bat kills it, he kills himself, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, Orchids is still fine, but there's so many different targets. Like against team fight, massive team fight, I would say Orchids like isn't that great because you have lots of different heroes that you have to watch out for. It's not like we kill one hero and then it's fine. Like they have to worry about a lot more. Similar to like the other lineups that EG has, lots of team fight heroes. You can't just focus one down and be okay with yourself. You got to worry about the rest of the team. But with that engagement and then Roshan going down, that's about a 15,000. No, not that much. About a 12,000 experience.
Here we go, Stampede going to be using, going to go in, get the stop off, got 2. Pipe was deployed before that, though. There's the lasso that's going to grab Puppey. He has Black Hole ready. If he wants to use it and can use it, gets down the Midnight Pulse. And yeah, this is a little bit of an overextension from EG, but there's the Black Hole to turn it around onto Mason. In the meantime, the fight has played itself out elsewhere behind. Mason does make it away. Sonic Wave barely catches him, and Dindy's there to help clean up the kill. Havost caused inside, but Arteezy is just going berserk. And Havost trying to go one-on-one with him. Dindy trying to do what damage he can as well. That Aegis is still up, and yeah, one more. Not enough. As the last auto attack, hang on. No, he got him! Oh, Zai!
What a player!
Launching that from forever away. That's a gem down, too, and pinged out immediately. And here he comes to claim his prize. The little guy waddles up and shoot a rocket, win a prize.
Imagine where he had to be in his thought process of casting that. So he had to think, okay, if this
where
connects.
Where did he shoot that from?
Well, he just bought back, so
he
somewhere
shot it from
like
the fountain.
No, somewhere like right around here because he TP'd. But he shot that. He had to anticipate. First, he had to anticipate him living between the exchange between him and Arteezy. Then he has to anticipate him blinking away and which direction he's going to go, and just nicely placed there. Huge rocket after he bought back. It would have been a wasted buyback if he didn't get that. So he had to secure that. Well played by Zai. And he is going for a BKB now.
Yep, that makes sense. And, like, yeah, you figure they would both come out at some point against this composition. It's just a question of in what order. But I can't stop smiling. I just, like, there's something about seeing a play like that. I mean, it's awesome to see the rocket kill and all that. But then just to see the Clockwork waddle up, pick the gem up, and waddle away.
Yeah.
This makes me happy. Waddle.
And he waddled away. Waddle. To the very next fight.
Oh, man. What are you singing? I recognize that. I just can't remember.
I don't know. It's that popular YouTube thing with the, hey, got any grapes? I don't even know what it's called, but it's got a lot of,
whatever. At any rate, it's 18-14 now. And EG, entering Game 3 with a 2-zip lead, is now moving closer and closer, bit by bit, to claiming the title of D2L Grand Champions. And, of course, their share of our now over $60,000 prize pool. Actually, might be more than that. I can't remember. I think it's roughly 65,000 with contributions from the community and buying the tickets. So everyone listening in game, thanks for that. Na'Vi, though, they're down, but they're not out. We have seen them in this position before. They've got to win this game. They still have to win 2 more in a row, which is a tall order on the best of days. But, yeah, some things have just gone wrong for them. Havost has played fairly well this game, I think, outside of that one bizarre kill near the Tier 2, unless there's just something to that I didn't see. But he's getting huge. He's got his heart. He's got up Hyperstone now. But the Quap, as you said, it's just more and more questions. Like, he's good to kite out the TA. We saw that come into play a little bit there. But other than that, the impact is just lacking.
I'm still wondering if Enigma should have just went Blink BKB. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Pipe because it's like I said, it still is very, very good for this game. But the fights where he has massive black holes, they're obviously winning. And there's not that much to cancel it through BKB. There's a Clockwork Hook, which still even then you can't guarantee it. And at the very slim, I think you can maybe use a Batrider Lasso if he positions himself like fully in front of him. But even then, that's a tall order, and that has to be like perfectly played. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think the biggest thing, and I'll have to like go against myself and tell myself that I was wrong, is just Quap is just doing nothing. I hate to go back to that. And Denny, he has played fantastically in days prior and even today. But just the Quap pick, yeah, he did very, very well in the laning phase, but other than that, just hasn't been too effective to the standards that I think Na'Vi would uphold for him.
5-4 is where he stands KD-wise. Arteezy, on the other hand, 4-2. And again, another very even spread in terms of kills. No one really taking this game over for their team, but team efforts on both sides. Na'Vi now pushing down top. They did a little counter-warding with PPD's gem, which had been picked up by Kuro. But I think EG is not going to have any problem defending this if they decide to go ahead and push. What's the right call for Na'Vi right now? Like, how do you think they feel about their late game right now?
I still think their late game is quite fine because as this progresses, it's more about completely, like I talked about how they have lots of good team fighting abilities, and Orchids is not that great in that sense, but as the game progresses, Arteezy's getting he is 6-slotted. Sorry, he's 6-slotted. So the later this goes, this is actually better for Na'Vi because any farm that Arteezy gets is kind of negligible. He can buy a new BKB and save for buyouts, and that's it.
Right.
So it actually, if they are able to just draw out this game a very, very long time, it will benefit them in the long run. Again, though, against EG's, like, you know, pick-off potential, it can be a lot easier said than done. So I still think they need to turtle this out as much as possible. Rat Dota, as they say, and just farm up some bigger items onto Enigma, get a third one onto Dendi on top of buyback, things like that. And there is the BKB up onto Enigma.
Assault QRS is almost done on Kuro as well, and that'll help out.
Onto Kuro?
Or not on Kuro, I'm sorry, onto
the Doom, yeah.
I was looking at Kuro whenever I said
that. That would be an interesting build.
Yeah, Assault QRS on the Skyrath. But yeah, not on Kuro, on Havost's Doom, so he's getting closer and closer.
This is why Batrider is first pick banned, by the way, all the time. Yeah. So like I said at the very beginning of the draft, I'm like, okay, wow, they got Enigma and Doom. They trade it for a Batrider. I still favor Na'Vi's decision to give them Bat for the Enigma and the Doom, but this just goes to show you how strong Bat is. It's not necessarily that he's had an amazing game. I mean, he's played fine. He's played how he should, but he is, like, I think, the key factor to EG. It's not necessarily, like, Arteezy's doing massive damage, and he's the one that the numbers come up, and you're like, wow, Arteezy, he's probably going to get, like, an Ultra Kill this game. We'll see. But it's really the effect of, like, the Batrider. He's so good in all stages of the game, and just becomes even better as the game progresses. So,
yep.
Very scary hero to play against.
Farming Na'Vi's jungle as we speak. Has his own BKB up. Blink Force Staff has everything he needs. Haste Rune spotted by Arteezy. We'll see if he wants to give that. Yeah, he will. Go ahead and give it to Universe. But Na'Vi's playing this very, very slowly. And this is an indication, I think, that Na'Vi's on the same page you are. They like their late game, saying, you know what? We don't have to try to make anything happen. We need to stick together, not get picked off, not give up any more ground, farm up, get whatever items we think are essential. I think the Assault Cure is actually a big deal against Arteezy with the Deso and such. And, yeah, it's basically done now.
For Doom?
Yep.
Yeah, he'll have that. Shiva's up. I haven't really talked too much about Mason's item progression, but he's got Shiva's and looking towards a heart. And it's a hero that we don't really talk too much about in the late game, but with items like this, he's a force to be reckoned with. Oh, yeah.
Well, he's just so spammable, man.
He's spammable.
You can't bring him down.
He's spammable, and he's the hero that you don't want to, like, focus because he takes too long. But you forget just how much damage that, you know, 5 double edges do in a fight. If it's a long, drawn-out fight, you can actually use Stampede twice if you really need to. He's got Pipe to help out his team. And one of the better stomps with a 2-point, almost 3-second stun. He can cast multiple times. So, yeah, you can't ignore him in team fights either.
Nahaj just popped up a stat, and it was despite yet another nerf, Bad Rider has been picked 61 out of 63 times in 6.81B. Honestly, the surprising part of that to me is that he wasn't picked or banned in 2 matches out of 60. Like, why wouldn't he?
Which hero? Sorry.
Bat.
Oh, that he wasn't.
Like
picked,
he was nerfed, but he even after his latest nerf, he was still picked 61 out of 63 times.
Picked or banned, or just
yes,
picked?
Picked or banned. But to me, the more surprising part of that is that he actually wasn't picked or banned twice.
I was just going to say that
like
too.
That, like that's really the standout there. Na'Vi smoking and trying to make something happen. EG is hovering around the Roche pit. They've got RTZ in there. This is an opportunity for them. There's the Doom on the PPD. He has to run, coming in behind that. There we go. They're going to lasso out Funnick. Funnick brought back. Didn't he use the ulti onto Zai? And Universe drags Funnick back into the pit. Zai still gets the cogs down nonetheless. The fight really spread out, but RTZ now going to work. Manta's out of that, and Havost now being pursued out as well. They managed to get Puppy. I honestly didn't see how they got him. Funnick in trouble. He's going to be cleaned up with a flame break, and Havost is next to drop. And that is a huge loss. As that fight goes EG's way, they lose 1 in exchange for 4. And Roche is still up, and we'll see what they want to do. They may go take a tier 2, then fall back and try to finish it off as Doom is down for a while. Yeah, and Havost doesn't have buyback.
Yeah, and if you watch Quap too, that entire fight, she just she had to waste a BKB for 2 heroes. She ulted, I think, only Zai.
Yep.
And then ran around trying to chase her because she can't fight anyone else. Yep. So it's not a good game for Dendi. Whether it's the quad pick or just not being able to maneuver around EG, I don't know. Could be both. Here we go with the counter punch.
Here we go. Actually, they used the pipe, and Mason turned like he wanted to fight. Just heard a cog come in, or excuse me, a hook. And yeah, there's a black hole, but stutter stepped again. And Puppy brought down by RTZ. And Dendi, whoa, so close. Zai just behind him. Look at this. Oh, wow. Ghost Scepter saved him for sure. He might have one-shotted him there if it wasn't for that. Force staffing away. Yep, he would have one-shotted him. Now Funnick using Carapace with the BKB on RTZ. This lets him chase and attack with impunity. And this may be the beginning of the end. Na'Vi is losing so much in the last couple of minutes. To catch up with Zai, though, he's going to BKB, drop the cogs. Universe is there.
Look at the damage from
man. Dendi down again. And he's caught by Funnick, but it doesn't matter. Zai's there using that BKB. Did get the Doom off on him, but Havost is going to be down again. That's a godlike streak now onto RTZ. Funnick trying to finish him off from behind. There's a deny. And now Dendi killed again. There's going to be the stampede. Funnick being pursued out. The hook's off the mark from Zai. One of the only, if not the only, GG. So a game that seemed like it had the potential to be close, was for a while, but suddenly getting out of control as EG whitewashes Na'Vi and wins our grand finals 3-0. What a performance out of Evil Geniuses. You said coming into this match you thought they could go 3-1. Based on what we had seen out of Na'Vi up to this point, I thought it would go 3-2, but I thought they had the chance to win. I think one of us was right and one wasn't. I think that's what it comes down to.
Well, now I feel bad that I didn't give EG the credit and say that they would just.
Let's see who they beat. They awaited the winner. They went
Fnatic,
2-0.
Right?
Yeah, no, they beat Fnatic 2-0.
Roxkis first.
Rox, was it Rox? Yeah.
Rox, Fnatic, and then yeah.
Yep. So yes, 2-0 Roxkis knocked them down. 2-0 Fnatic knocked them down. 3-0 Na'Vi. 7-0 across the playoffs, and they came in as our #1 overall seed. That means in all, if I'm not mistaken, did they lose 1 or 2 matches? I think they lost one match in the group stage.
Yeah. So I think it was Na'Vi.
Yep. So they lost 1 match. 1 best-of-3 total in all of D2L Western Challenge play. And yeah, like you said, was it Na'Vi?
Yeah.
It was. I remember that.
It was the Dendi game where he was Pudge.
Yes.
And they roamed the SF on RTZ.
Well, what a season it's been for them. Our little micro season, I should say. Season 5 is in the works, but wanted to fit in a D2L event in between the awesome events that have been going on around the Stream League, of course, before our playoffs, and then ESL coming up real soon, and TI looming right on the horizon, and EG gets another feather in their cap and a nice chunk of change, finishing off Na'Vi again 3-0. And RTZ has that farm kick in a big way. By the end, he was just destroying anyone and anything in front of it.
I don't even think it's necessarily a TA thing. I think it's an Arteezy thing. Like, again, I told you when we saw him pick this up last time, he really brought his fame into NA Dota, playing Templar Assassin like all the time.
Right.
Like he picked it every in-house. If you watched his stream, back in the old days when he'd get like them 15 viewers,
yep.
I was one of them.
I remember somebody actually on Reddit linked to a link from like months ago.
Yeah.
That was like Arteezy be like, hey guys, I'm streaming, downvoted and flamed. Like he was downvoted to 0 and flamed in that.
He played a lot of Lion solo mid. I remember that, and he played Templar like all the time. But he knows his hero in and out. It's one of his first ones that he mastered. And yeah, I think it's an Arteezy thing. And it's really scary to go up against this lineup. Like I thought Navi's lineup was crazy good, except for, again, I gotta admit I was wrong. Like I thought that the Queen of Pain would do better, but he did do well in the early stages of the game. But they just didn't utilize it well as a whole for the rest of their team. And, I mean, there's a lot of other factors involved too. But I think at the end of the day, EG just completely outplayed Navi. Just played better, brought their A game. A lot of things too. So they did pick a greedier lane setup, I should say, with a 2 jungle 1-1. When normally you'd think, oh, it's going to be a support clock in 3-1-1, but nope, they played a little bit more greedy, and it paid off for them. Arteezy with 6 slots at basically like 38 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, and with that, EG, their victory draws D2L Western Challenge to a close. Been an insanely fun ride. Hope you guys have had as much fun as we have. And to help celebrate this, don't forget to check out HyperX. It's the first time I mentioned it today, actually. But for those of you that are interested in the market for SSDs, they're actually half off right now. So you check out all of the HyperX SSD bundles. Pretty sure it's on Amazon, correct? Yep, on Amazon. I just want to make sure I was sitting in the right place. So you just go to Amazon, search for HyperX SSD bundles if you're looking for a drive, and check it out. Again, half off on those. And don't forget, the promotion's still running on the HyperX Cloud headsets as well. I've been saying it was half off. It's actually close to like 42% off or something like that.
You bastard.
I'm such a liar. I'm a fibber. But anyway, yeah, this awesome headset, the one that I actually use in the office and one of the most comfortable I've ever worn, Pro Gamer optimized. If you're in the market for a new headset, make sure you check out, again, the HyperX Cloud. And if you look right below the stream, just right below our stream window, you'll be able to find a direct link to that. It's marked down to $80 from $150, and honestly, worth every penny.
$79.99, I believe. Is that what...
Jerk, you joik.
There's a reason why they do that.
Yeah.
Just in general. Not them. I mean, just...
That's why I say $80, because I speak for the common man.
Oh,
Speak for the common man. The way we all interpret the world. But yeah, so lots of nice gear on sale right now from HyperX. And again, as part of the promotion behind the D2L Western Challenge, I want to thank them directly. We are in their house right now, in the house that HyperX built, this awesome LAN facility. We've got some pro gamers behind us even. I'm pretty sure it's TLO back there, right? Yeah,
and
TLO,
Hero.
Yeah,
and Hero.
If you guys are StarCraft fans, yeah, TLO and Hero from Team Liquid are actually back there right now, just kind of hanging, listening to the cast and doing what they doing. But yeah, a lot of folks come in here. EG boot camped here, and looks like EG got some work done while they were here, right? But
yeah.
But anyway, again, check those out if you're in the market for a headset or a new SSD. Great SSD packages, half off right now from HyperX on Amazon. And right below the stream window, you can find a link to get this awesome headset on sale for $80 instead of $150. Final thoughts, man, before we close the show.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me to cast. It's been an absolute blast.
It's been an absolute blast. Pleasure, man.
Yeah, so shout out to all you guys. And it was just, I think the final thought here is that it's a great morale boost for the EG team after such a disappointing...
Did you see the stat that has popped up?
I might have missed it.
In this year, there have been 12 tournaments. I want to make sure I'm getting it right. But of the 12 professional tournaments that EG has entered, they've won 8.
Wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
And yeah, but as we're coming closer to TI, like you want to get that morale up. I think that's the biggest thing, morale and just versatility in general. And after a disappointing, quite frankly, disappointing result, very disappointing at DreamHack, I think it's nice for them, morale-based, to win this game and win this playoffs in considerable fashion.
Yep.
Undefeated 7-0. So, yeah, they're looking good as they approach some new tournaments.
All right, guys. Once again, thank you so much for helping make D2L Western Challenge a success. It's, of course, all owed to you guys and to HyperX. Make sure you follow us all on Twitter. I'm at AC, at AYESEE. He's at TralfDota, TRALFDOTA. And, of course, check out HyperX on Twitter, at HyperX, HYPERX, and D2LGG, because we are going to have details not out. Well, obviously, TI's coming up and ESL, so it'll be a little ways off, but it won't be long before we tell you all about what we have planned looking ahead to this fall. And I really can't wait to get those details out there as well. Once again, on behalf of myself, Tralf, Conrad, who's been flipping the switches. Oh, yeah, you need to follow him, too. He's actually got a Twitter follower war going with one of our guys in the office. He's at Quantum Pope. Yeah, he's not even a challenge now. It's at Quantum Pope if you want to check him out. He does have some of the best, like, fiending tweets. Yeah. He fiends so hard. And has some of this.
When he just first started following me, he would like retweet everything I wrote, and I'm like,
he fiends so hard, man. But yeah, make sure you check him out, Quantum Pope, and make sure you go watch some Dota. Go find another stream to support. Thank you once again to everyone for making this a success. I'm AC, and on behalf of Trout, Quantum Pope, and HyperX, we'll catch you next time.